This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Some of the pushback that I get here on the channel related to me continuing to talk about Donald Trump it comes in the form of these types of statements. You're giving him publicity. Let's stop talking about him. As though if we continue, or excuse me, if we cease talking about the threat, the very real threat that he poses, it'll go away. It's the ostrich with its head in the sand, which is apocryphal. It's not a thing ostriches do, but it is the cartoon version of that, of an ostrich with its head in the sand, ignoring that around him. Because ignoring the problem does not solve the problem. It does not negate the problem. It does not diminish the problem. Ignoring the problem only ignores the problem. And Donald Trump is a very real problem in the United States that persists today. Yesterday, on Truth Social, he ReTruthed. Seriously, this entire Truth Social thing is just a flagrant ripoff of Twitter. You can send truth and ReTruthed. In fact, even the user interface of it, it's identical to Twitter. Because there is no originality with Donald Trump or Trumpists with devotees of their golden god, Donald Trump. So he retweeted this. We're just going to use Twitter terminology because I'm not going to say ReTruthed it. The ex-president of the United States, a man who was once president of the United States, leader of this country, is now advocating for, at the very least, if not advocating for, he is suggesting the possibility of a civil war in the country. He retweeted El Salvador's president, he retweeted Laura Logan, who's a conspiracy theorist nutterbutter. She tweeted this: the most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you rethink what are the real reasons something so big and powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within. El Salvador's president once changed his Twitter profile to say the most popular dictator in the world. Not a good guy. Of course, Donald Trump is going to feel chummy and retweet civil war. This is why I continue to talk about Donald Trump. This is why. Because Donald Trump is dead set on whipping the MAGA morons into a frenzy. The right wing, right now we have more than ever, more than even during his presidency, we have a problem with white nationalism. We have a problem with these separatist types, which aren't a fringe anymore. This isn't like it used to be where there was a few of them and they would gather together secretly and whisper their little conspiracy theories, and they weren't really a problem. But now we have Tucker Carlson on every single night, talking about the Great Replacement Theory, talking about white genocide, talking about the things that 20 years ago were softly spoken. They weren't talked about openly in polite circles because they were conspiratorial. They were hate-fueled rhetoric. And now, because of Donald Trump and people like Tucker Carlson, it is normal. It is the norm. And it has inflamed the right wing, which is chock full of whiny, aggrieved white dudes who feel like everything is oppression. They are obsessed with tyranny, that wearing a mask is tyranny. Vaccines are tyranny. Free and fair democratic elections are tyranny to these weekend warrior wannabe boobs. They opine for combat. They think that there's some kind of they're all a bunch of Jason Bournes, when they are nothing but weaklings, weak in the mind, physically weak. They are cowards. The saying that when you're used to supremacy, when you're accustomed to privilege, I think is what it is. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. They should all surrender their "don't tread on me" flags and have that be their banner. Have that be their guide on. That when I'm accustomed to privilege, so now that people are gaining equality, it feels like I'm being oppressed. That is the mantra of these goons. And Donald Trump is doing nothing but validating that in them. We are witnessing a rise in open white nationalism that is fueled by Donald Trump and his calls for civil war. Now listen, if you're out there and you're saying to yourself, well, he's not calling for civil war. Don't trip all over yourself making excuses for Donald Trump. We witnessed for 5 years the rhetoric from Donald Trump. We witnessed his refusing to disavow David Duke. We witnessed him that Nazis are very fine people. Yeah, there were multiple groups marching in Charlottesville, but they were very fine people on both sides. There were not. And he is allowing, in an effort to gain power again, these types of ideas to run amok, unfettered. That is why I continue to talk about Donald Trump. That is why I continue to talk about white supremacy and white nationalism, white separatism. Because right now, it's the great replacement theory and defending, or at least explaining away the fact that there are domestic terrorists running amok, the latest in Buffalo. But there's a cadre. There is a long list of individuals who have been radicalized by the likes of Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson and the rest of the Republican Party. Later today, I'm going to do a video from a CBS YouGov poll that spanned the 18th to the 22nd of May. There are some shocking opinions coming from Republicans about what kind of a problem white nationalism is and whether we should focus on it. In fact, the next video I'm going to do is about Marjorie Taylor Greene whining that white nationalists and white supremacists are now being targeted. This is where we are in America. This is where we are in America, and the midterms are up in the air. The Democrats might lose. And if that happens, we are in big trouble. We may have lost our democracy. Not hyperbole, not exaggeration, not trying to get clicks. It is a true thing. That is why it is incumbent upon you to do everything you can to get your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers, your family to vote in this midterm election. We must stop the rise of authoritarianism, of racism, of white nationalism in this country. We have to stop Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson and their ideology in its tracks. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, a regular old-fashioned email, daily@dollemore.com. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm happy to be back. I'm nearly 100%, like I said. If I bring you some value, please consider supporting my work. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or you can click on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. The other way you can support the show is by buying some merch. I made these in support of the Poor People's Campaign March on Washington here in June. I made some t-shirts, Fight Poverty, Not the Poor, and Poverty is a Public Policy Choice. If you'd like to support the channel, you can buy some of that merch. That would be a fantastic way to also support what I do here. And get something in return other than the sound of my voice drilling into your head. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.